Hello, everyone. This is your host, Yetzael speaking. Welcome to another episode on the Casual Collective. This is episode 7. Oh, wait, no. 8. And I am joined by Lindsay Weebs. Can you say hi?
Hi. Let's great job. Very, very good intro.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode on the Casual Collective. My name is Lindsay Weebs and I am your host. And today I am joined by the special guest, Yetzel.
Hi.
Oh my
Hello.
god. So,
How you doing?
this is episode 8, yes. It was supposed to be episode 7. You're right.
However, there were.
Um, things happen and that's fine.
Mhm.
Anyways, we're going to see how much we can talk today without editing this. If you didn't listen to my last podcast episode, I am going to try to edit as little as possible. And that is the biggest challenge for today. So, we will see how it goes. This is going to be a long episode, I think. We have a lot we can talk about in terms
Yes.
of Yetzel's life, Yetzel's online career, what it's like streaming without a face cam, and also what it's like now with a face cam, and
Well,
also, well, and his hiatus that he's on right now. But we can talk about that. And also, we'll be talking about our relationship and what our relationship is like. Ooh, tea. Get your coffee. Get
ooh.
your fun drinks. We sipping today. We sipping. I
Speaking
put.
of, what is your drink of choice?
What is my drink of choice? I have a classic glass of water with the chipped painted nails. Just ignore that. A plain glass of water. No fun straw. No ice. This is probably the least fun drink. How about you?
Nice. Well, I have a luxury brand, also water.
Wow, wow. Very cool. Stay
Yeah.
hydrated.
Stay hydrated, fellas. Make sure you drink plenty of water. Yeah.
Let's tell the audience a little bit about yourself so that way they have a better picture of you. What would you like to share?
Well, hi, I'm Yetzel. I am a university student. I am studying engineering and automation. I am a was slash am a streamer. Just Yetzel on every other site. Uh, hiatus because I've been trying to lock in on my university studies to finish up here so I can move out and possibly move in with your host.
Hey,
Uh,
yo.
huh? What?
Whoa. What? That's crazy. How far are you in school right now?
I am on my fifth year almost. I should have been finishing up, but due to some educational choices of myself, aka I didn't care for a little while. Uh,
Hey, that's okay. That is okay.
I set myself back like not half a semester, like a semester and a half. So it'd be like that. I mean, I'm still even then not that big of a in a rush, but I am trying to finish as quickly and efficiently as possible without burning myself out or having such a bad what do you call it, the GPA in the
Oh,
US that
yeah,
nobody will
GPA.
hire me.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, I think it's okay though to take breaks and I mean, I took a gap year in between school. I took a whole year
Yeah.
and a half off until I actually went back. So, I mean, everybody's on their own journeys, so I think there's nothing wrong with that. So where are you living right now? Without doxing yourself, obviously, but
I was about to make the Breaking Bad joke of the Aurora Lane, Albuquerque, New Mexico, but what you call it? I am actually in Mexico at the current time. I've been living here for 7 years, almost. No, I almost 8 at the time of this recording, like 10 days away
oh my gosh, that's crazy.
from 8 years.
Where did you live before that?
I used to live in a little known town known as, you guys probably haven't heard of it, Houston. Uh, pretty low key city. I lived there
Houston, Texas?
from, yeah, no,
Houston,
the
Texas. Yeah, that's a really small city. Very, very small. Yeah.
home of Bucky's, my beloved.
God, I miss Bucky's.
Right?
Oh my god. I get the hype now. I get the hype. I really do.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. But yeah, I lived there from 2 years old to 14 years old,
Oh my
so
gosh.
that is why I have such good English.
Mm-hmm. So, which did you learn first?
I learned Spanish first, and then I was put in ESL classes, which is basically just like Spanish, but the goal is to move you from Spanish classes to bilingual to English if you can like pick up the language well enough. Out of my childhood friends, which we'll be getting into that later, I was actually the first to fully transition into full English.
That's pretty
But
cool.
it's crazy to think we started our friendships speaking Spanish, and now we don't ever talk in Spanish, we just talk in English.
Yeah. And you said that you think in Spanish or you think in English too, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Which is interesting
Which is,
because if you first
yeah.
started learning Spanish and then transitioned to English, and now you're living back into a
In,
Spanish speaking area, but you still think in English,
yeah.
which is interesting.
I guess it's just depending on the developmental years.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting how that works. So, what was it like moving to Mexico from Texas?
It's very different. I feel like we have the same. So, I don't know if you've heard of the term Southern politeness,
No.
where you basically you sugarcoat things for the other person. Uh, you would talk in a more like soft tone to somebody rather than just like being like, "Hey, man, straight up, I don't like you."
Okay.
How it is more in the north, but I feel like though that's a similar situation here. We have that kind of similar culture of just like, I don't want to say respect because I'm not trying to imply that the North doesn't have respect, but yeah. Differences though, there's a million differences in the culture, in overall behavioral patterns and whatnot.
Mhm.
What people consider fun, what people consider cool, what people consider funny, even. It's a lot of different things.
Yeah.
For example, it's more still sort of accepted to pick on somebody because of like a physical feature here,
Mm.
that to the point to where it becomes your nickname. If you were fat growing up in school, your official nickname is gordo,
Yeah.
which means fat.
Yeah.
Or if you did something embarrassing growing up, then that is your nickname.
Mhm.
Like, let's say you peed your pants as a kid, and they're like, "Hey, pantalones."
No. Really?
Eh, Yeah. Or they would make play on words with your name. So if, let's
Yeah.
say, for example, there was a guy named Sebastian, in my middle school, and he was a complete dickhead to
Oh
people. He was
no.
a not good person. So they would call him Gagastien, which means like shit
Oh my
Sebastian, but like
god.
because he was always like a shitty person.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
don't I don't ever see that in the States. Or at least growing up I didn't see that in the States. What else? Yeah, that's oh, I feel like people are very two-faced
Mm.
here. So they'll pretend to be nice to you. So that's where the double-edged sword is, where the southern politeness comes in. Where I noticed in at least in Houston with my experience, people were polite to you, but still were I don't want to say upfront, but were honest about how they felt about you. If they didn't like you, you would know it eventually, or you would come to find out.
Mm-hmm.
Here, at least from like where I grew up, if someone doesn't like you, they're gonna pretend to be your best friend for the rest of your life
Oh no.
while talking shit behind your back the entire time to their friend group, to the main friend group.
Yikes.
So it is not pleasant
So like,
seeing that side of
does your
people.
family actually like me or
No, they love you. No, actually, funny you mentioned that. My mother very much picked up the Houstonian methods of
Oh yeah.
politeness. I feel like she has become very upfront about how she feels. I mean, she's always been upfront about how she feels, kind of like me,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like now she's more direct
Mm-hmm.
and honest about how she feels about like certain things or certain
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can even remember just a few instances where you told me that she just like came up to you and said something about me.
Hmm.
Like you didn't ever like go up to her and be like, "Oh, what is your opinion on Lindsay?" Like she just like came up and told you. Nothing bad, but like, like just like what she likes about me, or she would just come up
Yeah,
to you and
no.
say it. I do remember. That's funny because it reminds me of like the first time that I met his mom. She asked me when my birthday was.
Oh no.
She asked me when my birthday was, and so I told her, and she was trying to figure out which astrological sign I was. And I said I was a Gemini, and she just goes, "Oh no." It's
Yeah.
like, "Damn, my bad." And then she's like, "Well, it's okay."
Not all of them are so bad.
Yeah, I think that's literally what she said too. She's like, "Oh, I don't think they're all bad." And I was like, "Oh my god, girl." It was so funny. I was like, what's wrong with Geminis?" And then we were
And she's
talking
like, no, no, no,
about
nothing.
no, nothing. That was funny though. Any other things you want to talk about, like moving, that you really remember that kind of had a big part on your life?
Uh, separating from my friends in a
Hmm.
more permanent way because I am no stranger to moving. Up
Sure.
until this house, I've never lived anywhere for more than 4 to 5 years. So I would move from apartment to apartment, apartment to home, home to home, home
Hmm.
to home, home to home. It was not
Yeah.
great. So in Houston, I moved like 2 times. Uh, the second time being the more like permanent way. I
Mm-hmm.
lost a lot of friends, but it wasn't all bad because they were still 30, 40 minute drive away. And we would make the effort to hang out every other weekend.
Yeah.
And moving here was like, oh, I'm not gonna see you guys for years because at the time I was 14. When am I going to the US? When am I
Right.
renewing my visa? When am I traveling with someone who wants to go to the US or has the money to go? So it was a very stressful time for me where I think to the point to where I just numbed myself out and didn't ever I just became a shell of a person
Yeah. Yeah.
for a long time.
I can't imagine doing that when I'm 14.
Yeah, no. It
Anytime
was
during my
awful.
teenage years, I can't even imagine that.
Imagine doing it at 9 as well,
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
more permanent sense, because, like, I mean, I wasn't too upset about it because I didn't also really know what was going on like that. I just thought, "Oh, bigger house. Cool.
Sure.
I get my
Yeah.
own room," because at the time I was still sharing with my sister. So I was like, "Oh, cool. I get my own room. Awesome." It was like, it had its benefits and it had its cons of not seeing my friends, but
Mhm.
at the same time, I made a lot of friends whenever I made it to the my second Houston home, and it was great because to this day met some, I mean, not to this day, met some people who to this day I'm still really good friends with and I love dearly, and it's made me into a better person having such like lifelong friends. But
Yeah.
seeing them for the last time at 14 years old, at least seemingly for me, it was the last time.
Yeah.
It was not fun.
Yeah. Oh, man. I can't imagine.
So yeah, which led me into me being a shell of a person who didn't have any own thoughts for myself or didn't bother with like even caring about like, I mean, I've never been one to care about what people think about me, but when you add the depression and anxiety of all of that, it's adds to the I don't care. Just
Mhm.
let's just do whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
which led me into some not very fun friendships and relationships where
Yeah. Well, it does
I
it
did
kind of gets like that too. It's like if you're not in a good mental headspace and you are at that moment where you don't really care, then you're not really going to care who you're with either or
no,
what type of people you're with. If you're just don't care about yourself or you're not in a good space either. So,
yeah, no, I was just not present mentally the entire time, which led me to have people take advantage of all of that, and it was not a great time.
yeah. Yeah.
Luckily, it wasn't all bad. I still made friends who, to this day, are really good friends to me,
Mhm.
and I still talk to not regularly because I didn't make as an big of an impact on each other, but they're still good friends that I can talk to if I ever really need someone to like talk to physically.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
I mean,
not all bad.
one of your friends was just in town this weekend
Yeah.
from
Okay, but
back
we're
in
talking about,
Texas.
yeah, we're talking about that's Houston.
Here,
I'm talking
yeah.
about
But it's nice
New
having like
Mexico.
a mix of people too, though, where it's like you still
Yeah,
have
no.
people from Texas and now you have new ones here. So it's like you get to have that mixture of old and new. Some of these aren't
Yeah,
even
no,
new
this
anymore, though, because you've been there for, you've been in Mexico
no.
for a few years now. So they aren't really new either, but it is
Yeah, no,
nice.
I considering that, I also just haven't made any friends since like 2020
Hey,
in the IRL space.
me neither. Shake my head.
Shake my
Hey,
head.
we became friends. We became friends.
We did become
So,
IRL friends. It started
so
online, but
hey, you know what?
which, by the way, would you like to tell the people how we met?
You can go for it.
No, I want you to say it
Why?
because it's funny for you to say it.
Well, I think it's like a whole story too. I think we have some things we need to admit
To air
here and
out.
to get off our chests here. Um, big fair warning, big big announcement. Hey guys, Twitch is not a dating app. Twitch Twitch.tv is not a dating app. Don't go into people's chats looking to date them or don't do it. However, somehow these
How did this
two,
happen?
I don't know, these two streamers here somehow met on Twitch and we are dating now. And I think that's so funny
The funniest thing ever.
that we met
Do you want me
on
to tell
Twitch.
.tv? Do you want me to tell
Twitch.tv,
how it
baby.
happened?
Go for it.
So, let's go back to 2022. I was having a little stream series, which, by the way, to those who don't know what streaming is, it's a live recording of yourself, whether it's you want to play games, talking, just a stream. You know what a
Co-working now.
stream,
Yeah,
co-working.
live stream. It's just live
Yeah,
streaming.
a
But
live
Twitch
stream.
used to be just games, pretty much. Like streaming yourself live playing a game. And then, that's how you got views and stuff like that. Now, I mean, it's more like you can do like just chatting, you can do co-working, you can do music, you can do all kinds of stuff on Twitch. But
Yeah.
at the time, it was just mostly games. I mean, there was just chatting, but I think most of my audience knows about Twitch. I'm gonna be so for real. If they don't, I'm gonna be surprised.
Yeah. So anyway, I had a little stream series called Sonic Saturdays, where every Saturday I would play a Sonic the Hedgehog game. I wanted to
Which,
play.
by the way, I also had Sonic Saturdays, but it was Sonic Sundays. And I had just finished my Sonic Sundays, which is
That's so
crazy
funny.
that you were doing Sonic Saturdays. Because we
That's
could
so
have been
funny.
streaming like every weekend, but on different days. And so every time we went to raid out, we didn't see each other because like we were playing Sonic on 2 different days every week.
Yep.
And then someday, one day, our schedules aligned.
Oh, to those who don't know what rating is, at the end of your live stream, you can send all of your viewers to another streamer. That way, you can keep the party going elsewhere without just ending stream and
Yeah.
having everyone go home.
And supporting other people
So,
on Twitch.
and supporting other people, yeah, exactly. So I decided to end my stream, and I was like, let me send these guys to a random person that I found. And then I sent them to ye old host here.
Ye old host.
Ye old
L
host
Weebs
here.
on Twitch.tv. I was playing
She goes,
Fortnite.
no, you were playing Sonic Adventure 1.
Oh, no. I was playing Sonic. Second time he raids me, I'm playing Fortnite. And I'm like, this kid is back? This kid actually liked my first stream and he came back and raided me a second time while playing Fortnite of all games? What is happening?
Listen, it was fun.
Okay, but, I think that's very valid for me to be playing Sonic Adventure when you raided. That makes a lot of sense. So,
Yeah.
not only did we meet through Twitch, we met because of Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't know,
Yeah.
man. We're just two little
Shout out
guys.
Neurodivergence.
Shout out. I love being neurodivergent. I love the shadows sitting behind me on the camera.
That's so funny.
Oh my god. So yeah, anyways, Yetzael came into my chat. He rated me with the good morning message. Everybody in his community came over and said good morning in my chat. Mind you,
Even
it
though it
was
was like
probably
8
like
p.m. for
8
her.
p.m. Yeah, and I'm like, good morning? But yeah. And
I have a
then,
bit where I say good morning regardless of the time of day.
in which that is something that I've picked up. I do that now. I say good morning all the time. Um, but yeah, after that, we
Some
just kind of like slowly kept coming back to each other's streams. I mostly just lurked in Yetzel's streams. I was the silent person in the chat that never spoke in the chat. I was that silent viewer or lurker is what they call it. But um, finally, I joined a server after a while. I was like, all right, I fuck with him. I'll join a server. I'm also one of those people that get very overwhelmed with servers, so I'm very like picky and choosy with whose servers I want
what
to join.
community to join
Yeah, so finally I did. This was in 2022, by the way,
at the
when
end
we
of 2022.
met, and then I joined a server. Yeah, we met like spring summer ish, like when you rated me, and
It was like
then
May.
yeah, yay, 3 year anniversary. Um, but yeah, and then I joined a server, and it just kind of went from
Yeah,
there.
you joined
But
to June 6th, 2022.
which is crazy because then I just like knew you for like a year and a half. Like we weren't even like close friends or anything either. Like I was just like in the community.
We
And
were
I didn't
just
even
doing our own
chat.
things.
Like I didn't even talk much either. Like that's so funny to me. But
I wouldn't even pull up to Lindsay's streams like every time either. It was like a
no.
I'm bored, let's see what she's up to type of deal.
Wow. Wow. Okay. All right.
Listen, I was busy.
Guess I'm not entertaining enough for Yetzel.
Nah, I didn't I
My
didn't mean it
bad.
like that.
Shit. I'm over here like explaining that I lurked and supported him in every single one of his streams, and he's over here like, yeah, when I was bored. I'm
I
kidding.
didn't
I'm
mean it like
kidding.
that,
I'm
but what you
kidding.
call Listen, I gotta be honest. I didn't really like watch the streams like that.
That's fair. Probably
I
because I
was very
streamed a lot of
busy.
Sonic Adventure, and he hates that game. So.
What? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Anyways, uh, we have beef. We have beef about that, but we'll move on. We'll move on
Sonic
about
Adventure
the best
2.
Sonic Adventure game, or the Sonic Adventure game. Yeah, the Sonic Adventure is is the best one. The best Sonic game is always and will forever be Sonic Adventure 2, but um,
Mm-hmm.
someone thinks otherwise, and I just usually when it comes to arguments and debates, I'm very good at just being open to the other person's perspective, but
You're also good
this
at
is
being wrong.
this is like a debate that I just can't. I know I'm right that Sonic
She's gonna
Adventure
get ignorant,
2
fellas.
Sonic Adventure 2 is the best Sonic
Wee
game.
wee
So like
wee.
I just
Wee wee wee.
hey,
Wee wee wee.
wee. He thinks Sonic Unleashed is the best one, by the way.
It's so good.
If anyone fights in the comments about this,
Oh, I would love to see that. Fellas, type in the comments what your favorite Sonic the Hedgehog game is. Or what your favorite video game in general is. I'm
that's
very
true,
interested
yeah.
to see what you think.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how we met. We didn't meet in person though until December of 2024. So like 2 years
2023.
later.
2023.
2023! Oh my
Mm-hmm.
god. It's been so long. Holy shit. December 2023. Yeah. We were together for
I was about to say, like,
2024.
hold on, December 2024? Like, what are you talking
Whoa.
about? We met
Whoa.
6 months ago?
I don't know
We've
the
been
date
dating for a year
anymore.
and a half?
We met IRL in Texas actually in December of 2023, which was really fun. Um
She got to
we
meet my first ever friend group with that
Yeah, that was
trip.
really cool.
So she stood the fire trial day one without even attempting it being a trial of sorts.
What do you mean?
Because, like, we didn't see each other as, like, a romantic interest
Yeah, I
at the
just kind of
time.
showed up.
We just went as friends, neither of us looking for anything.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, the whole
And
point of
then,
why I went to Texas is because they had announced the Sonic Symphony tour. And it was funny
which is
because right
crazy
before,
how it's the
well, okay,
first way that we met IRL.
it's with Sonic too, yeah. Oh my god. That was also when I got to see Bucky's for the first time because everybody was hyping that up.
Which, by the way, how do you feel
I fucking love
now
Bucky's,
that
man.
you've been enlightened?
I love Bucky's. That beaver can cook.
If you know, you know.
Okay, I just think it's so funny though because it's like I went all the way to San Antonio to see you because you DM'd me and we were talking
Mhm.
about the dates and everything and how we didn't know where the tour dates were going to be yet. And I just said, because you said you were going to go to the San Antonio one. And I was like, bet. If there's a San Antonio one, I will book tickets for it. And so I did. But I think it's funny because it's like, yeah, I met all of your friends and everything. It's like, so I didn't just meet you in person, but I also met them. And what's also
You met my
interesting,
lifelong friends.
yeah, what's interesting too, it's like, we weren't like really good friends online before that either.
No,
Like,
we
I'm
were just
thinking,
comrades.
yeah, I'm thinking of like my online friends that I have right now, and I've been friends with them for like years, right? Spent all this time on call with them and everything. We weren't like that. Like, we were just like, oh yeah, fellow Sonic enjoyer, let's meet IRL, fuck it. Like,
Well, okay, it's not as shallow as that
well,
because
no,
I think you and I also spent a lot of time checking in on each other
we
because we
did.
both went through very rough times
Yeah,
at those specific times in 2023.
yeah.
So, you and I spent a lot of time like just checking in on each other. I remember we would send each other messages like, "Hey, how you doing? Like, you all right? Like, just checking in on you."
Mm-hmm.
And then you would also do the same like a week later, and then I would do the same like a week
Just
later.
check it in, yeah, because
Just checking in on
we
each
both
other.
knew like something
Yeah,
was
we
going
both knew
on.
that
But
times were rough.
yeah, no, that was really nice. And I think that like honestly, yeah, like it turned into like a romantic relationship now. But like just even then, before I even like knew that I liked you or anything, like it was just really nice, like knowing that someone is like checking in. And like I feel like I could probably do that now, even with some of my online friends that I have now when I don't like see them all the time, where it's like, hey, you know, a check in. Like it always feels really nice when someone like checks in on me. And so I'm like, now I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I should be checking in on people more often, you know? But it was really nice. It was very reassuring to just like have you as like an online friend just even like it was like it would be almost like just like a hey like hope you're doing okay and then we'd chat for just like a minute and then
Yeah,
that's
it
that.
was just
But
very casual talk.
yeah, it was. And I think it's funny too cuz yeah, like you said when we met in December of 2023, we didn't like each other. Like we were just friends saying hi, like going to the Sonic Symphony with a group of people too. Like it's not like me and you just went together. Like we went
Yeah, no,
as a group, but it's so interesting like where that went from there though cuz it's like I went
it
home.
escalated.
Yes, very quickly too, which is weird because like I didn't feel anything like really like in person while we were there. It was like after and I started to like process things. But like it was just funny cuz like now like looking back at it, it's like when I went to the airport and you like dropped me off at the airport to like go back to Chicago. Like I'm just like thinking about like that interaction and then like the few days after that where we were like still texting, you
Mhm.
know? And at that point it's like okay, we're talking more than just like the check-ins.
Yeah,
And then
we're
like
now
from
like proper
there,
friends.
yeah, now we're like proper friends and we're like talking more and more and more and then it just kept going. Like and then like I remember like it wasn't until February after Valentine's Day where I had finally told like my IRL like girlfriends about you. And they're like, "What?" They were so
Like, what?
confused. They were like, huh? And I was like, oh yeah, he asked me to be his Valentine too. And they're like, what? Like, they're like, wait, this is the same kid you went and saw in December? Huh? Because they're like, Lindsay, why didn't you tell us? And I'm like, girl, I don't even know. You know, I just enjoyed talking to this kid. I like hanging out with him. And then I'm like, yeah,
It's
I
so
think I
funny.
like him. And they're like, what? But yeah, it's interesting how the ball just started rolling with that.
And then like 15, 20 days later, she messaged her friends like, "Guys, help.
Help!
I'm down
I'm
bad."
so down bad. That's funny. I wish I still had the messages for that. I think he was on Snapchat though. God, that
That's
was
so
so
funny.
funny. They're like, you're such a simp. I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Oh
And
my
then like a
god.
week later, like, "Guys, fellas,
Fellas.
I am a simp."
Okay, question for you though. What,
Ask me.
how do you think, okay, what is your opinion on
Yes.
the friends to lovers trope?
I love it. I think it's the
Yeah?
most pure way that a long-term romantic relationship can form because you have met each other in a non I want a relationship way. You have looked at each other through different scopes and lenses, in one which, in my opinion, if you look at each other immediately from a, oh, I want to date this girl way, or I want to way, it skews the balance. Not to say that it's not possible for proper relationships to form out of
Yeah.
immediately wanting to like r- be in a
Like
relationship with
attraction.
somebody. Yeah, just from attraction based relationship. Not to say that it's not possible or that it can't be done right, but in my opinion, friends to lovers trope is the most pure way that it can be done.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but I think my opinion is also a little bit swayed. I think yours is too, just because, you know, that's how we did it.
Well,
But I will say, I think, in my opinion, as someone who's asexual, I think that's like even bigger, where it's like, there's no way I could have been in a relationship with someone based on attraction first. Like, that's simply just not how asexuality works either, where you have to have the emotional aspect first. But I fully agree with you though. Like, I am like literally the biggest fan of friends to lovers trope. And I like
now
how you like
enemies
say
to
that.
lovers.
Yeah, what's your opinions on enemies to lovers?
I've never seen it happen in IRL, so
Really? I don't know.
no.
I guess it kind of depends on what you describe as enemies. Because, like, I think personally, I've had situations where, like, maybe the guy isn't like an enemy to me, but like, based on like the first time, like, my first impression of him, let's say, like, I
Mm.
was like, this guy's kind of a dick. And then maybe it's like you get to know him and then he's not as bad. But I don't know if you would consider that to be an enemy either. I don't
I guess
know.
you can consider that enemies to lovers, yeah,
But I also
technically.
didn't become lovers either. That was just like, oh yeah, like he's cute, you know. After I once saw him as a dickhead.
Great start.
But I know, I think friends to lovers is the best way to go. And I took this class in this is kind of going off topic, but I took this class in college because I have a theology degree or a theology minor. And part of theology is this idea of like different types of marriages and like what the values are in marriage. And um
Which,
there was like
to
a whole
pause real quick, what was your stance on marriage in 2023?
nah. ask my friend, my IRL friend Ricky. Me and Ricky all the time were like, hell nah, fuck marriage. I am never getting married. There's no way I would get married to somebody. No. And we would talk about it all the time.
Okay. Carry on.
And
We'll get to
you're not gonna talk about
no.
now? Oh, okay,
No.
okay.
We'll talk about it
But yeah,
later.
anyways, I took this marriage class and like the values of marriage and everything, and I don't remember, there was this really good quote. I should find it, but it was this quote about the ladder of being married to someone and having a relationship with someone, but the very first start is being friends with them before you can be lovers and before you can be committed and married. Because sometimes in marriages, like, you know, how marriages fall apart. And maybe, like, if you're with someone for a certain amount of time, you start to kind of lose that love. But if you built it on friendship, maybe you start to lose the love, but you still have the friendship. And so you still have that foundational aspect of the connectedness of being friends. And so you can like go back to that. But yeah, it's an
Yeah.
interesting, I don't even think it's theology really. It's more like philosophy in a way, but they tied it with theology because of like Christian marriages and different types of marriages. But
I
yeah, no,
love
I
religion.
I completely agree. I think being friends with someone before you're lovers is the best thing. And I think that's why online dating is just like another thing that I could just never fucking do. And I say that like
Mm-hmm.
Tinder and Bumble, not like not like how we did it, not that type of online dating. I'm talking like dating apps specifically.
Yeah,
I
no.
could
Dating apps are
never. I could never. Shout out to the people who have had successful relationships from dating apps, but
there's a funny
um
story that I know actually regarding that. So,
dating apps?
yeah, my friend Fea, uh, for a time tried convincing me to getting an app in like 2021 or 2,
Yeah.
and she was like, "Oh yeah, no, I know this couple. They've been together and they're gonna get married. It's awesome." And then like 2 years later, she was like, "Hey, so you remember that Tinder couple that I told you about?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "They're getting a divorce."
Oh no. Okay, but
And I
that
was like,
doesn't
"Weren't
mean like
no,
every
they divorced like a week or two after they got married."
Oh no.
I
Yeah,
was
but
like,
I mean, there's certain Tinder relationships that do work. I'm not
"I'm
like
sure there
hating
are."
on those, but um like really for me like being asexual like that's just never gonna work.
I
Um
could never.
because I just don't, my brain doesn't work that way, but there there's different ways that people date and there's a lot of different ways that you can approach a relationship. So, yeah. Props to those people cuz like I
Props to
it
those
would be
people.
such a challenge for me, but yeah. Anyways, I love our friends to lovers trope. I think it's great.
It's great.
Before we talk more about us though, I want to redirect it to you for a little bit longer. Uh
Okay.
And I mean, it kind of will go back into us too because it's about streaming and like I'm a streamer too. But
Mhm.
I wanted to kind of talk about like your streaming career and like you building a community and kind of where you are with streaming and your thoughts on the streaming world. So,
Okay. So my career per se has been very jumpy because I've been streaming on and off my entire life, really. Whether I started on my PS4 playing Minecraft or to 1, 2 viewers back in 2017, 18, or just video making as well. And then I stopped for a little while when COVID started, which ironically is when a lot of people started. I stopped
huh.
in 2020. And then 2021 came, and I started hanging out with a lot of people online.
Mm.
I've met a lot of like really big people who to this day I would consider friends who gave me a really big boost at the beginning of my streaming career. So I have a very privileged type of beginning where I didn't start off with 0 viewers. I
Mm-hmm.
started with 4, 5 consistent. And
Which, by the way,
well,
is
not consistent.
pretty good on Twitch.
It's really good.
It's
Yeah. No,
pretty
it's
good.
like people see like 3 to 4 viewer Andes and think I'm like, "Oh, well, they don't obviously they're not like." But if they're carrying 3 to 4 the entire stream, that's really nice because that means that you're
Yeah.
having good conversations with the viewers or you're
Yeah.
at least having a proper enough vibe to make the people want to stay.
Yeah. I remember watching like a YouTube video like when I first started streaming and like learning about like Twitch and like making OBS and shit like that. But
Mhm.
I remember in one of the videos they talked about viewership and they're like, yeah, 4 and 5 people doesn't sound like a whole lot when it comes to live streams, but think about it as if you have 4 or 5 people in your room watching
Watching you
you.
play the game.
That's a lot of people, like just standing there for hours on end watching you play this game. Like, that's actually
Yeah,
quite a
I feel
bit,
like
especially starting off.
people really take for granted the viewership amount, and I've noticed a lot of friends who've been very like plateaued in viewership for a while
Mhm.
where they've told me they're like, I'm getting frustrated because I only have 3 to 4 viewers. I'm like, dude, 3 to 4 viewers is still really good. That means you're
Yeah.
keeping a consistent 3 viewers.
And they're coming back. Yeah.
And they're coming back. It's returning viewers, which is
Yeah.
more valuable than anything else in streaming. So, at least for me, I've been on a very slow burn growth in my time of 2021. I think my biggest growth was in 2022, and honestly, the most fun I've had in streaming
Honestly,
was
me
in
too.
2022.
Me
It was a
too.
great time for me where I started with the Sonic Saturdays, and then I met a bunch of people through the Sonic like ambience, and I made a lot of like really. I've converted a lot of people into like playing Sonic or
Yeah,
trying the
yeah.
series again. And that was a really nice feeling, just having people being excited to watch the Saturday streams.
Mhm.
Because I started a server in 2021 and people would talk in the server. Actually, I feel like I'm also in a very privileged situation where I've never had a dead server. My
Yeah.
server has been consistently active relative to community size the entire time that it's been
Yeah.
live, that
Yeah.
it's
I
been
think you
open.
have a really good group of people in there. I think like that's the first thing I noticed when I joined it is just the way that everybody interacts in there. It's just like you can tell like everybody's just super chill with one another and like
It's a
they
genuine
enjoy having
friendship.
conversations. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, conversations don't feel forced, or I have never felt the necessity to, and I'm sorry if I trigger somebody by saying this, I say this from a very privileged standpoint. I've never had to type in general being like, "Hi guys, how are y'all?" because someone else already did it.
Yeah, that's
Said good
fair.
morning, or like trying to like start a conversation because the server's dead.
Yeah.
Again, very privileged situation for me to be in, and I'm very grateful for it.
So what do you call your
But
server?
we started as the Yetzel's Pretzels.
Of
It
course.
was a very last minute situation because we were like, what do we
Yeah.
call the server? I don't know what to call it.
Yeah.
And eventually I was like, I want to name it something else, something more original, because I've been called Yetzel Pretzel my entire time in the
Yeah.
online space. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
Yetzel, like pretzel? I'm
Mhm.
tired of it.
Yeah.
Tired of it. I still have the rewards per se as you having pretzels in your bag or levels, but uh, we eventually in 2023, if I remember correctly, made the rebrand to the booth or the studio,
Mm-hmm.
where it was a. It started when we called a voice chat in the server Deboof,
Yeah.
spelled D-A space BOOF, Deboof,
Yeah.
which sounds like the booth.
Yeah.
And that kind of
I
just
think that's
spiraled
fitting.
into, yeah,
Because everybody like joins and talks in there. Like that makes sense.
yeah. So, and then it just like, it's such an easy phrase to call, like, not phrase to call, but like, you just put in like general, be like, boof.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
everyone knows that it's time to voice chat, it's
Yeah.
time to hang out.
Yeah. I really like the crowd that's in there, and they've all been very welcoming, and um
I,
I've gotten
I've
close to
tried my
some of
best
the
to,
people in there, so
yeah, I've
I
tried my
was gonna
best to make
ask.
sure that it's a welcoming space for everybody.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna ask, like what you when you started streaming, you didn't have a face cam either. So do
No.
you want to talk about what it was like streaming without a face cam, and then we can talk about the transition to having a face cam?
So a reason why I've had a very slow, steady income of viewers is because I don't regularly stream with a face cam. At the time, I straight up didn't. Up until like mid 2024, actually nobody knew what I looked like.
I didn't even know what he looked like.
Lindsay didn't
I
know what
did
I
not
looked like
know,
until like my birthday of 2023 when I just randomly accepted her into my Instagram,
which was 1 month before I met you.
which was a month before you met me. You knew what I looked
Yeah.
like for the first time a month before you met me.
Yeah. I didn't know what you even looked like, and I was talking about going to see you.
Hmm.
But yeah. And I also want to
So,
point out, too, is when you're streaming, a big part is a face cam. A lot of people
mhm,
like to see your face when you're streaming. They want to know what you look like. It's that
yeah,
curiosity kill the
I
cat
was
thing where it's like, they want to know
I
what
was
you
gonna
look
get into
like.
that.
Yeah.
I was gonna get into that where when I started and like throughout my entire time of like streaming face camless, I would have people being like, "Hey man, when's the face cam? When are you doing face cam? You're really killing your growth by not doing face cam." I was like, "I don't want to, man. I simply don't
Yeah.
want to.
Which is
I don't."
valid.
The thing that I had was if I somehow blow up and become huge, I still want to have a regular life outside of streaming where I don't
Yeah.
have to walk and be afraid of, well, not be afraid of, but dreading going out because I'm gonna run into somebody who will recognize me.
Yeah.
Which obviously, very like, oh, obviously you're not gonna grow that big. Obviously not, but there's the chance. And that's for life, from what I've noticed with a lot of people. You
Mhm.
just get recognized like
Mhm.
for the rest of time, really. And which I guess is a little insecure on my behalf, but at the same time, it was also fun streaming without a face cam. I don't have to like dress well or I don't have to like
Be
do my
perceived.
hair. I don't have to be, which I've never cared about being perceived, but at the same
Yeah.
time, I don't have to put in the work to buy a good face cam. The face
Yeah.
cam that the people see right now on YouTube or anywhere else that you're seeing like the video, I didn't get this until like 2023.
Yeah.
I didn't have a camera,
Yeah.
and I didn't care to buy a camera.
Mhm.
And this was supposed to be a recording camera, like the Elgato type of, not Elgato. What do you call the
Like a surveillance type
GoPro? Like a
GoPro.
GoPro type
Okay.
of camera.
Yeah.
Like
So what was it like when you
it's
finally did a face reveal?
It was interesting seeing everybody going like, "Wow! Oh my god! Wow!"
Yeah.
It was very very funny because like it broke the community news. Like people coming from different streams being like, "Whoa! I heard about the face reveal! Oh my god!" Like I have a bunch of like friends who like stream at the same times,
Yeah.
and they all stopped their streams to come to
They're like,
mine because I
whoa,
did my face reveal.
this is big news, breaking news, Yetzael face reveal.
It was crazy. I broke like 40 viewers that time. It was insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I regularly do 10, 12.
Yeah.
So,
So now your face is out
very
there.
now my face is out there. I still plan on streaming without the face cam because it's more convenient for me that way. And also this camera
Mm-hmm.
sucks. This camera sucks. For streaming, it's not really good. For video calls with the girlfriend, obviously it's
The girlfriend. Ooh.
sufficient, but
Yeah. Yeah. That was a crazy
but
stream.
it was a crazy stream.
Not
Because I
only that,
revealed my
though,
relationship that stream.
you did a lot that stream. Like, you, not only were you vulnerable in the fact that you were showing your face online, but you were vulnerable with, like, your personal life in
I
your
was, yeah.
relationships. It was very,
It was a very big stream for my
yeah,
community.
yeah, for sure.
I became open about like my mental health,
Mm-hmm.
which is not very good. I became very open about it and talked about it, and a lot of people came to me uh telling me how they felt seen and how they felt almost reassured in the way of like, like I'm glad to know that like there are others like me in a way, and not in a like sadistic way of like, oh, I'm glad that
No,
people are suffering as well, but like
in a collective way. Back to the
in a
podcast episode. In a collective way where
casual
you know that you're not alone in those things.
collective suffering.
Let me just rebrand the podcast real quick. The
To
collective
casual
suffering.
suffering and the collective suffering. That'd be funny. But yeah, it very big stream. And since then, I have been on hiatus. So I
Yeah.
revealed, I'm like, hey guys, my health is shit. I'm leaving.
You're like, hi, bye.
Yeah, no, it was.
Okay, no, you had a stream or two after that too. It wasn't like your
I
very
did, yeah.
last one. But yeah.
I had disappeared mostly from the not the online space because I feel like
Oh yeah.
I was pretty active in my community where I would hang out and do stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't really do that as much anymore. I wish I could do that more often.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still around.
You're still around though. You're active there
I'm
like
still
every
around.
day. Like you're at least sending messages and stuff. It's not like
Yeah.
you just ghosted your own community. I don't think anybody thinks that.
No, I hope not.
Okay, I have one more question
Hit me.
in regards to like streaming in the online space.
Hmm.
I think this is a very, very common topic and
Hmm.
question about the online space. And I just want to know your perspective on it and whether you have any like personal relations to this topic or experiences.
No,
What?
Twitch.tv is not a dating app.
No, guys, for real. Twitch is not a dating app. Don't do it.
Don't go to girls' channels and
Don't do
start flirting with
it.
them. Don't do it. It's not gonna go
Um,
well.
the question is like that actually kind of leads into this question. What do you think of parasocial relationships and have they affected you in any sort of way? And maybe we should start off by
First,
talking about what
yeah.
parasocial relationships
Fir
are.
First, let me explain what parasocial relationships are to those who don't know what it is. Parasocial relationships are a sort of relationship that a person builds with a streamer or a YouTuber or any sort of public figure that is constantly sharing about themselves in the online space, where
Or in general.
you,
I mean,
as
it
a
could be like
person,
a celebrity or whatever,
a
too.
broadcast network or
Yeah.
any sort of way, where there's a level of like, I know so much about somebody and they don't even know me.
Yeah.
And in my knowing so much about somebody, I treat it as if it's common knowledge for me to know about somebody, which can lead into, let's say, I'm gonna put an example, me coming up to Lindsay being like, hey, this, and that you said earlier, we should go. And
Yeah.
Lindsay's over here like, I don't even know who you are. A. B. I don't remember ever talking about that. I said that
Yeah.
like a year ago as a comment, a throwaway comment,
Right.
and it basically makes very uncomfortable situations for the streamer, which where people think that they are your friend when
Yes. Which, I mean,
they are
like,
really not.
the streamer might be friends with some people in the chat, yes. But it's to the point, it's like, if you think about like a regular friendship that you have with someone, you have spent time with them together. You have, you know, been vulnerable with each other. You know about each other's lives. You know things about them. Parasocial relationships is like what he said. It's like the viewer knows everything about the streamer, but the streamer knows nothing about the viewer. That's not just for Twitch, but in general with anything. And that viewer starts to develop in their own mind this whole relationship or friendship with the streamer that the streamer is just not
Which
aware
can
of
lead
at all, which
which
is
can
what's
lead
toxic
into
and uncomfortable situations, like you were saying.
very uncomfortable situations. The most common one that I have seen is one where I, for example, have a inside joke, which is not really inside because we are broadcasting ourselves live,
Yeah, yeah.
joke with somebody where I tease somebody about X or Y thing. And in the parasocial relationship of somebody, they think that they have the right to also tease that person in the
Mm,
same way that I do, as if they
yeah,
were
yeah.
that person's friend. So I'm over here like, "Oh, Lindsay, you fucking idiot." And then in the comments, they're like, "Yeah, Lindsay, you fucking idiot."
Yeah.
Like, "Whoa,
When I
dude,
know
like
nothing about them and you don't know anything about, yeah.
we don't like she doesn't know you. Why are you calling her a fucking idiot? Why are
Yeah.
you like saying that to her?" Or like I say something about like I've seen it in a lot of like bigger communities where they'll be like, "Oh, where's Hyper's dumbass?"
Mhm.
I say, "Where's Hyper's dumbass?" And in another community where Hyper is not currently there, they're like, "Hey, yo, where's Hyper's dumbass?"
And they don't even know Hyper, they don't know you, like
Like, you don't know
you
him
don't
like
have the
that.
right to
You
say that. Yeah.
like, why are you calling him a dumbass? You don't know him. He doesn't know you. He's never
Yeah.
even seen
But it's different
your
because it's an
username
inside thing with you and him because you guys have been actual friends for a super long period of time
for a super long time
and
where it's
he's
okay
okay
for
with
me
you
to
saying
say
it.
that to
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I have ran into that situation before with people
Yeah.
where it's common for somebody to be teased in a certain way, where it's acceptable for us because we are close friends, but then someone in the chat or in the community uh, makes that same joke, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's it, there's a thin line between friendly teasing and just straight up harassment.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I don't know you and you say the things that I say that could be seen as harassment if we weren't friends is perceived as harassment. It's
Yeah.
or
I've
for
kind
let's
of
say
Go
a
ahead.
woman's perspective where people think that they have like right to your heart or people are like, "Oh yeah, no, I have a genuine chance with her because I know so much about her." You're coming off as creepy, dude.
She knows nothing about you.
She don't know you.
She does not know you. I
Which
think
again,
another
Twitch is not a dating
aspect,
app.
Twitch is not idea. Another aspect of that, right, is not only is that creepy that they're saying those things to you, but in their minds, they have already created this entire friendship slash relationship. When I say relationship, I'm just meaning, I'm not saying romantic, I'm just saying relationship. But in
Mhm.
their head, they have created this entire relationship with you, the streamer. When the
Sometimes
streamer
romantic too.
doesn't even know their name, doesn't know what they look like, that literally does
Maybe
not know
you said,
anything other than the color in the name of their username. That's it.
and maybe just saying their name once when they subbed and be like, "Oh, thank you so much."
Right. And that's it. And it's crazy because it's like, it's that whole level too, where it's like, you're live and this is happening and you have no idea who this other person is behind the screen, but they know everything about you somehow. Not everything, but it is an
Enough to
interesting.
draw a big conversational difference
Yeah, yeah.
where they can make a bunch of like references to your past events
Mm-hmm.
and you can't do the same for them
Yeah,
because
there's
you
nothing
don't
to
know
relate.
who they are.
Yeah.
So they develop this like one parasocial relationship, kind of just a one-sided relationship where like to you this person is this wonderful person where it's like, oh man, I want to just be in this relationship or I want to be best friends with them. The feeling's not mutual because
Right.
it's not like in a way of like, oh, I don't like you. It's just
Right.
we interact with so many people in the online space where it's impossible for me to remember every little detail
Well,
about a specific person in the same way that they can perceive me.
well, not even that either, though. It's like, okay, even if I was only streaming to three people and I'm having a conversation with these three people, right?
Hmm.
They are seeing everything. Like, they see my camera, they're seeing everything. I am the one carrying this conversation.
Yeah.
I am the one openly sharing things about myself, which I mean, they're open to share things in the chat too, but once again, they are perceiving you. You aren't perceiving them whatsoever. Even if it is three people and you're talking to them and you're having a consistent conversation, you can still choose whether you want to be friends with them or not. Like,
Hmm.
like, and that's not like being mean either. It's just like you still just don't know anything about this person. You don't even know what they look like. And it's like you met them one time. I think that's also a big thing too, where it's like,
You've maybe played a game or two
yeah,
together,
and
been on VC
now
2 or 3 times, and now.
they have this like obsession of being with you and talking to you, which I think that's where the unhealthy part comes in.
Hmm.
And they don't even like they don't allow you to make the choice to be friends with them. They just assume you're already friends or
Yep.
more even. Um but yeah,
Which
I
has
have a
led
whole
to a lot
nother
of very bad situations that I've seen where people meet IRL because of
yeah,
parasocial relationships.
that's scary too.
And it can be very scary, especially for like female creators, or not even female creators. It could just be like a female in the community, period.
Yeah, yeah. It could be in a community sense like that too, where it's like she's talking in the server, in the Discord server. She's talking to people, having conversations with people. This person that's also in the server might not even be interacting with her directly. I think that's what's scary
But they're
too.
still
It's like
seeing.
they're perceiving her and they're gaining this information on her and then forming the relationship themselves in their head when maybe they didn't even interact with her or they said hi. Like, or you know what I mean? Where it's like it's even
Yeah,
that
no.
level too, where it's like they are gaining this information from her and they're like, oh, I like her. And then it just spirals from there where they create this entire scenario in their head that never happened. So it is very scary, and you can't tell when it happens until it's like very extreme. I think that's the hard part too, is you can't really tell when a social relationship is happening until it's almost too late, where they're almost in that obsession state. So boundaries is a big thing. I was gonna ask you too. Have you ever had somebody like cross boundaries or try
With me
to?
personally, no, but
That's good.
community members of mine, yes.
Mm.
Or where people feel entitled to my attention. And when I
Mm-hmm.
start giving it to someone else, let's say a new community member, because to me, I think it's very important to talk specifically a little more to a new
Sure.
community member to make them feel
Yeah.
included, to make them want to keep talking and
Yeah.
to me it's very important to give that new person that little bit of extra attention, to involve them, to include them, to make
Mm-hmm.
them feel welcome and whatnot. And I had a situation where I was doing that to a woman, where I was
Mm-hmm.
being inclusive to her, I was talking to her, I was being nice, just as a friend. And he took that as flirting.
Mm-hmm. He as in someone else in your community.
Yeah, someone else in the community, where it's
Mm-hmm.
like, he was like, "Yeah, no, man, I just don't like how you're over here, like, flirting with her and hanging out with her all the time, and where you could be hanging out with the homies." I'm like, "Dude, she is a new community member. I'm trying to," because at the time I had a very good male to female balance,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like, hell yeah, more women in the community. I love to see it. Let's make
Yeah.
her feel welcome.
Yeah.
And he wasn't doing that. So eventually, due to creative differences, aka I don't see women as relationships,
Yeah. Yeah.
we had to let him go. TLDR, don't be creepy, guys. Come on.
Hey,
Just
don't be creepy. Don't be creepy. There's a lot of creepy
learn to
people on the
stop when she says
internet.
no.
Dude, for real. Anyways. I have more personal stories about parasocial relationships and boundaries and all that fun stuff on the internet. That's for
That
another
sounds like a different
episode.
episode.
It is. It is for another episode, and I will have my tea set to sip on that episode. Of course, I'm not gonna,
Which, by the way, what is your sweet treat slash sweet drink of choice? What
what's
what is
mine
what is your go what is your go-to sweet drink?
right now?
Yeah.
A matcha, hands down. Specifically, a blueberry matcha. That's like one of the popular things of the springtime right now is blueberry lavender
Mm-hmm.
matcha at my all the different coffee shops around here. Very good. 10 out of 10. Would
Mm,
recommend.
okay, okay.
What about you?
I'm personally not a fan of drinking grass, but uh I don't know. You can never go wrong with a caramel
Ooh,
macchiato.
yeah. Yeah, that used to be my drink of
Which, by the
choice for
way,
a long time.
in the comments, how do you pronounce it? Caramel? Caramel.
Oh no, don't start this debate. Don't start this
It's not a debate. I
debate.
just want to see the
It's
personal
caramel.
preference.
It's caramel.
Wee wee wee.
I
Moving
love how
forward.
whenever we're in a disagreement, that's what we do. Wah, wah, wah.
Wee wee wee.
I would love to know what your guys' favorite drink of choice is right now or what your go to coffee order is. So let me know in the comments or DMs or wherever you have me at. I would love to know what is in season right now. Whether you go to the coffee shop or you're one of those people that gets a fun little drink at the gas station, or you make, fun drinks at home, let me know what your go-to order is right now. If you are watching on YouTube or you're watching the video right now, you may see that I'm recording just me. This is actually me from editing, but I am actually going to wrap up the episode here. I think this is a good start to the interview with Yetzael. We talked about how we met and everything about Yetzael and what his life is like as a student and a streamer who is on hiatus right now. Next episode, we're going to dive into the second part of the interview, which we're going to be talking about relationship things, long distance relationships, and a couple questions from the viewers. So stick around for the next episode. The next episode is definitely not going to be as long as this one, but because I didn't want to make this a 2-hour episode, I'm going to split it up. So we will see you at the next episode. I'm very excited for you to hear all of the juicy details of our relationship and what mine and Yetzel's views are in relationships and just fun little tidbits. So I'm very excited to answer those questions that you guys sent in for both of us. And if you have any questions that you'd like us to add on, you are definitely welcome to do that. Have a good rest of your day, night, or wherever you are. I hope your week is good. Happy time zones. And make sure to stay hydrated and take care of yourself. Don't forget a fun little drink this week because you deserve it. And if you stayed this long in the podcast, shout out to you because this is the longest one ever. And I'm very proud of you and I'm very thankful for you. So thank you so much. And we will see you at the next episode. Bye!